It is time to go racing again. Get set. Heat 3A of the Unlimited's coming your way here at Seafair. Let's take a look at this lineup. Dave Vilwalk in the Elstrom Elam Plus in the inside lane. Grandview on the Lake won a heat just a few moments ago. Then Northwest Express, Leland Unlimited, Jones Racing, and Buffalo Federal Savings is on the outside. Have not run, I don't believe, this weekend as I remember. That is the setup. Here is the lake, and the boats are starting to make their way out on the water. We'll get some fabulous pictures for you. We're coming up on 5 minutes before the start of this Unlimited Heat 3A.
Heat 3A of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Budweiser, the great American lager, and is presented for Seafair by the Tulalip Resort Casino, #1 place to stay and play.
All right, here we go. The boats are starting to take their positions in the water. Let us find out after the Comcast course conditions. 78 degrees and a light 6-mile-an-hour breeze. A little bit of chop on this water. Let's find out who these drivers are now from inside out in Heat 3A. And the #1 team, Dave Vilwalk and the Elam boat. Chip, they are set for perhaps another first-place win.
And all he really needs to do is get a first or a second, and he's in the final, and right now that's all he cares about.
And Guard, you're down there in the pits. They've tweaked that boat a little bit, have they?
Yeah, they have. They put a new gearbox in it because they like the lane they're in, and they're going with that lower ratio, and we'll see what happens.
All right, the Grandview on the Lake. Jimmy King, surprising with his piston-powered boat, gets a win in the second heat, Michael.
And if he shows the same kind of power that he had in that previous heat this time, he's going to give Dave a bit to work with.
The U-17 U.S. Northwest Express. Kip Brown, Nate and those guys, Chip, have kind of wound it out a little bit better each time.
They are. Kip said earlier today that he's never won a heat. I think this one's going to be a hard one for him to do that.
Greg Hopp in the Mirage boats jumps out of his Unlimited Light, jumps into the Unlimited, and it's going to be a warm day for him today and a long day, Mike.
He got pinched in the north turn in that previous heat and didn't really get to show what he's got. He may have something left to show us this time. He needs the points desperately.
And Jenny Hogan has been following those in the Mirage boat pits. Jenny?
Yeah, this is a new boat here. This is the Muscatel I've been following, and they've been making changes all morning to this boat. They've got a new skid on it, they said, because it wasn't running right before, so we'll see how it runs in this one, Steve.
All right, Jones Racing Team, David Williams, the museum curator who's racing against the big boys.
That's right, Steve. He can curate your museum, or he can drive your Unlimited hydroplane, your choice.
And the fastest forensic psychologist in the history of the world is Dr. Ken Muscatel, but they're still going to be working on that one in the Buffalo Federal boat. No, I think they're actually out on the water, are they not?
They are indeed, and it's a delight to see them out here. Oh, we just had a spin. Kip Brown just spinned in the corner there. He's trying to get it back again. But Ken Muscatel is there in his brand new, beautiful, beautiful Husky purple boat. Gotta love it.
In fact, he is swinging around that corner, and there is Kip Brown trying to relight the fire. How difficult is that, Chip?
It's hard, and you saw a little bit of fire coming out of that back, and that's means he's on the start fuel. He's putting fuel in again. Why he spun out, that we don't know.
Really is kind of amazing. They weren't certainly up to racing speed at that point.
No, but actually these boats are very hard to drive at under 130 miles an hour. These boats are designed to operate and steer well at speed. At slow, they handle like a 1950 school bus. They're terrible.
And you've driven both, so you know.
I've driven both. I've ridden it.
So we should have some pretty good racing here. Dave Vilwalk has not run from the inside lane yet today. He's going to have lane #1.
This is a good time for him to try it out. There's really not too much of a threat to him here. If Alberto was here, he'd be putting a lot more effort. This is a good experiment for him to see where he wants to be in the final.
You know, we've heard from all the drivers, Mike and Chip. We haven't heard from you guys. Mike, when you look at this, you don't see guys slowing down, going off plane, jockeying for position. What do you think? How do you like it?
I like it. I wish they could do that without having to do it in a formula basis and just actually have to never go slower than 130 miles an hour and still grab the lanes, put the suspense back in the starting sequence that isn't there with this process. But we're getting cleaner starts now. The fans, I think, can understand what's going on. And what's going on right at the moment is Jimmy King's got to catch up with the rest of those guys.
All right, Michael. How about the fastest lap, Pat O'Day?
Well, Jack in the Box is congratulating this heat the Elstrom family, that Ballard Bullet, the Elam Elam Plus. Dave Villwalk at the wheel. He qualified for this heat and for the entire weekend at 154.3 miles an hour. Now, Jack in the Box is the place where you can get anything on the menu any time of the day. Thanks, Jack in the Box, and thank you, Mike Fitzsimmons.
And we go up to the north turn to get ready for our starting charge, and trailing, as you can see from Chopper 7, we're looking at that boat for you watching or listening on KJR. He's going to get into that second slot just exactly where he is supposed to be, so he will be a factor in this start. Jimmy King will, as they come around. They're just a tad on the early side in the upper corner right now. Just a little off speed in terms of their timing. Jimmy King is going to come out with a good head of steam right now, and he's going to test Dave Villwalk on the inside. Villwalk and the Elstrom on the inside. Grandview, the U3 in lane 2, the 17 in lane number 3. They come across the line. Dr. Ken Muscatel makes a very good start, but the Elam has the speed as they go down into the first corner. Right next to him, though, is that turbocharged Allison.
I hope that turbocharged Allison just settles in and takes the second. Those old World War II aircraft engines, they don't take a lot of stress, so I hope he just settles down, takes the second, and find himself in the final.
Off the corner now and halfway down the back chute already. It's Dave Villwalk in the Elstrom Elam Plus. Jimmy King is keeping the pressure on. He's in the middle of the rooster's tail. We've lost the 9 boat. David Williams is down now in the lower corner. That's going to create a bit of an obstacle as the boats come down for the second time. Right now, Dave Villwalk is up coming out of the turn number 2 up by the Lake Washington floating bridge, and he comes down to take the flag for the end of lap number 1. He is keeping a lead on the Turbo Allison boats, and both of them are pretty fast.
Now, Villwalk turned it at 146, and Jimmy King's at 142 miles an hour on the first lap.
So that's not slouching, Chip Hanauer. They're still working it.
There's a lap penalty on the 100, but I want the viewers at home to kind of do a little research here. Watch the Elam boat when you get a close shot of it, and then in the next heat, watch the Alberta boat, and you decide which boat has the best boat ride, how steady it is, because that may be the key to winning the final.
Well, Elam is deliberately set to run a little bit loose and get some air under it, and he's running through traffic now. The 9 boat got restarted, and he's passing it right now in that upper corner. David Williams getting out of the way wide, and here comes Dave Villwalk now. It's all his here, and I think that Jimmy King took your advice, Chip, and he's going to pick up the 300 points there. He's had a good couple of heats if he does that, and that's going to give him sufficient to be a player in the final heat as well by making some decent choices as far as lane selection will be concerned. One more time around now for Dave Villwalk in the Elstrom family's Elam Plus.
Turned the last lap at 143. He must be thinking a lap's time as it relates to the last race of the day in lane position.
Indeed, and frankly, Chip, I don't think he likes that inside lane very much.
I don't think a lot of people do, but you hate to give it away because if somebody can make it work, it's really hard to catch them from the outside. You know, we talk about how old that old turbocharged Allison is. These turbines are old motors too. These engines were built in the late 50s, so these are not brand new off-the-shelf motors either.
Jimmy King has slipped to the inside trying to make up some ground there, but it isn't going to be enough. Checkered flag is out for the Elstrom Elam Plus. Dave Villwalk picks up another victory here and moves a little closer to the Old Boy Alberto in national points. Second, Jimmy King, another good run for the Cooper team in that Allison Turbo, and a distant third place now. Oh, no, it would be the third place. This is the boat down a lap, and that would be the Jones Racing.
No, Limited Unlimited, or Leland Unlimited is number 3, and then number 4 is Kip Brown.
Well, I have to say the Mirage boat that you were just looking at there, that's the 100. We did hear they got a lap penalty. I don't know if it's for a jump gun or another infraction, but Greg Hopp has got a lap penalty.
And Dr. Ken Muscatel is going to get a checkered flag for the first time this year, and that feels good to him on Lake Washington. No doubt he had a tough time getting into the race. It was basically the referee's option that allowed him in. He didn't actually qualify for the race, but it's a delight to see him out there. By the way, the starting sequence, they towed one of the starting buoys down about 30 feet and replaced it just a few minutes ago, which essentially gives us a straighter line. May also compensate for that second.
I think the story of that heat, Mike, was that Villwalk drove the orange Elam as hard as he could, but Jimmy King stayed with him. What a day this is for the Cooper boat, the number 3, the Grandview Lakes Resort.
Absolutely kept the pressure on him. David Williams, though, finishes ahead of Greg Hopp here, having been chased because David went down and was able to get refired again, and of course with the lap penalty for Mr. Hopp,